Ladies and gentlemen, choice is one of the most profound gifts life offers. It's a power we often underestimate, yet it shapes the very essence of who we are. Today, I invite you to explore the intricate dance of choice not as a burden of endless possibilities, but as a liberating art that defines our connection to life itself. Choice is one of the most defining aspects of human existence. It is through the act of choosing that we articulate our identity, shaping the narrative of who we are and how we navigate the world. Every decision, whether monumental or seemingly insignificant, contributes to the story we tell about ourselves and the legacy we leave behind. It is not simply the choices we make, but how we make them that truly defines us. From the moment we wake to the moment we rest, life presents us with a constant stream of decisions. Some of these are deliberate and conscious, like deciding what career to pursue, whom to build relationships with, or where to live. Others are subtle and almost instinctive, like how we respond to a kind word or a challenge. Each decision, regardless of its scale, is a reflection of our inner values, beliefs, and desires. These values guide our choices and, in doing so, reveal the core of our identity. To understand how choice shapes us, consider that every decision is an opportunity to express who we are. When we choose kindness over indifference, courage over fear, or authenticity over conformity, we are not just acting in the moment, we are defining the type of person we want to be. Even in situations where the options seem limited, the way we approach our choices says volumes about our character. Do we embrace responsibility or seek to avoid it? Do we act with integrity or do we succumb to convenience? These moments accumulate, and over time they become the foundation of how we see ourselves and how others perceive us. Yet, choice is not always straightforward. There is a paradox in its nature. The freedom to choose is empowering, but it can also be overwhelming. In a world with an abundance of options, it is easy to feel paralyzed, unsure of the right path. This fear of making the wrong choice can hinder us, leading to hesitation and self-doubt. But identity is not built on the idea of perfection. It is not about always getting it right, but about learning, growing, and evolving through the act of choosing. Each decision, even those that seem like mistakes, offers an opportunity for reflection and self-discovery. It is through these experiences that we deepen our understanding of who we are. An essential element of this process is authenticity. To allow choice to truly define our identity, we must ensure that our decisions align with our inner truth rather than external expectations. It can be tempting to conform to societal norms, to make choices that please others or follow a predetermined script. But these choices, while comfortable, often lead to a disconnect between who we are and who we present to the world. Authenticity requires courage, the courage to listen to our inner voice and act in accordance with our true selves, even when it challenges convention. The act of choosing also reveals our relationship with the present moment. To choose consciously, we must be fully present, engaging with the here and now. It is in this state of presence that we can evaluate our choices with clarity, free from the distractions of past regrets or future anxieties. When we are present, our choices are imbued with intentionality and mindfulness, allowing us to craft an identity that resonates with our deepest values. In the end, choice is a creative act. It is the brushstroke on the canvas of our lives, each one adding detail, color, and meaning. Through our decisions, we express our individuality and shape the unique tapestry of our existence. Every moment of choice is an opportunity to affirm who we are and who we are becoming. By embracing this power with authenticity, presence, and courage, we not only define our identity, but also live in a way that is true to our highest potential. The paradox of choice is a concept that touches the very core of our human experience in a world filled with seemingly endless possibilities. At first glance, the ability to choose is the hallmark of freedom, a gift that allows us to craft our lives in ways that align with our aspirations, desires, and values. Yet, this same abundance of choice can often leave us feeling overwhelmed, uncertain, and paralyzed, creating a tension that challenges the idea of freedom itself. Choice is undoubtedly empowering. It opens doors to opportunities, fosters creativity, and gives us the agency to shape our destiny. In many ways, the availability of options is a testament to human progress, a reflection of societies that celebrate individuality and diversity. Yet the more choices we have, the more complicated the decision-making process becomes. When faced with countless options, we may find ourselves consumed by doubt and second-guessing. Each choice carries with it the weight of potential regret. What if we choose poorly? What if a better option lies just beyond our grasp? These thoughts can transform what should be an empowering act into an exhausting one. The abundance of choice also creates an illusion of perfection. We are conditioned to believe that if only we choose wisely, we can create the ideal life. This belief adds pressure to every decision, no matter how trivial it may seem. From selecting a career to deciding what to eat for dinner, the fear of making the wrong choice can dominate our thoughts. The irony is that this pursuit of perfection often prevents us from appreciating the choices we do make. We become so focused on what could have been that we lose sight of what is. The freedom to choose, rather than liberating us, can leave us feeling trapped by the very act of choosing. The key to resolving this paradox lies in shifting our perspective on choice itself. Instead of viewing it as a quest for the best possible outcome, we can embrace it as an opportunity for growth and self-expression. Choices do not have to be perfect to be meaningful. Each decision we make, even those that lead to unexpected outcomes, contributes to our journey and helps us learn more about ourselves and the world around us. When we allow ourselves the grace to make mistakes, we free ourselves from the paralyzing fear of failure and open the door to new possibilities. Another way to navigate the paradox of choice is by embracing simplicity. In a world that often equates abundance with happiness, it can be counterintuitive to limit our options. Yet, studies have shown that simplifying our choices can lead to greater satisfaction. By focusing on what truly matters to us, our values, passions, and priorities, we can reduce the noise of unnecessary options and make decisions with greater clarity and confidence. Simplicity does not mean settling for less, it means creating space for what genuinely enriches our lives. Ultimately, the paradox of choice invites us to reconsider what freedom truly means. True freedom is not about having endless options, it is about the ability to choose authentically, in alignment with who we are. It is about finding contentment in the choices we make and trusting that, regardless of the outcome, each decision has value. Freedom comes from recognizing that our worth is not determined by the rightness of our choices, but by the courage and intention with which we make them. The act of choosing is an inherent part of life's journey, and navigating the paradox of choice requires us to balance awareness, trust, and presence. By shifting our focus from the external seeking the perfect option to the internal understanding ourselves and our values, we can transform choice from a source of stress into a powerful tool for connection and growth. In doing so, we resolve the paradox, reclaim our freedom, and step into the art of living fully. Authenticity over perfection is a guiding principle that invites us to live and choose in alignment with who we truly are, rather than striving for an unattainable ideal. In a world that often celebrates flawlessness, where social media highlights curated lives and societal norms dictate success, the pursuit of perfection can feel like an endless race. Yet, beneath this relentless chase lies a more profound truth. It is our authenticity, not our perfection, that makes us unique, valuable, and deeply human. Choosing authenticity means recognizing that life is not about adhering to a preset script. It is not about achieving some external standard of success or making decisions that please others at the expense of our true selves. Instead, authenticity invites us to listen to our inner voice, to honor our values and passions, and to act in ways that feel genuine and meaningful to us. This does not mean that our choices will always be easy or universally accepted. Authenticity often requires courage, the courage to stand apart, to embrace vulnerability, and to risk the discomfort that comes with being fully seen. Perfection, on the other hand, is a mirage. It promises fulfillment but delivers endless dissatisfaction. The quest for perfection is rooted in the fear of judgment, the desire for control, and the belief that we must always get it right. It can paralyze us, making us hesitant to act, or push us toward choices that look good on the surface but leave us feeling disconnected from ourselves. Perfection creates a divide between who we are and who we think we should be. In doing so, it robs us of the joy that comes from living authentically and embracing life's imperfections. When we prioritize authenticity over perfection, we shift our perspective on mistakes and challenges. Rather than viewing them as failures, we see them as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Mistakes are not evidence of inadequacy, they are proof that we are engaged in the process of living, learning, and evolving. This mindset allows us to approach our choices with greater freedom and less fear. We no longer need to ask, what will others think, or what if I fail? Instead, we ask, does this feel true to me? And am I willing to learn from whatever happens next? Authenticity also fosters deeper connections with others. When we present ourselves as polished and perfect, we may impress, but we risk creating distance. People cannot relate to perfection, it feels unapproachable and unreal. In contrast, when we allow our authentic selves to shine, including our vulnerabilities and imperfections, we invite others to connect with us on a deeper level. Authenticity creates space for empathy, understanding, and genuine relationships, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles and uncertainties. Living authentically does not mean rejecting improvement or growth. It does not mean we settle for mediocrity or abandon ambition. Rather, it means aligning our aspirations with our true selves. It means striving for goals that resonate with our inner purpose, rather than those imposed by external expectations. Authentic growth comes not from the pursuit of perfection, but from the willingness to engage fully with life as it is messy, unpredictable, and beautifully imperfect. The beauty of authenticity lies in its simplicity. It requires no elaborate facade, no pretense, and no constant comparison to others. It asks only that we show up as ourselves with honesty and integrity. In doing so, we reclaim the power of choice, free from the constraints of perfectionism. We choose not to chase an ideal that does not exist, but to embrace the richness and depth of our humanity. By choosing authenticity over perfection, we liberate ourselves from the endless pursuit of enough and step into a life that feels honest, meaningful, and uniquely ours. It is in this space of authenticity that we discover true freedom, the freedom to live as we are, to grow as we need, and to connect as we were meant to. The power of presence is one of the most transformative forces in our lives, yet it is often overlooked or undervalued in a world driven by distraction, ambition, and constant motion. To be present is to be fully alive in the here and now, engaging with life as it unfolds rather than being caught in the pull of past regrets or future anxieties. Presence is not just a state of mind, it is a way of being that allows us to experience the richness of life, connect with others on a deeper level, and make choices that are authentic and meaningful. In a culture that values multitasking and constant productivity, presence can feel like a luxury we cannot afford. We are often preoccupied with what comes next, chasing goals or worrying about outcomes. Yet this focus on the future pulls us away from the only moment we truly have, the present. The irony is that our greatest clarity, creativity, and peace come not from striving or planning, but from fully inhabiting the now. When we are present, we access a sense of grounding and focus that allows us to see our choices and challenges with fresh eyes. Presence is also essential for making decisions that reflect our true selves. When we are caught up in past mistakes or future fears, our judgment becomes clouded. We may act out of habit, avoidance, or the need to control, rather than responding authentically to what is in front of us. Presence frees us from these patterns by anchoring us in the reality of the current moment. It allows us to see clearly, to feel deeply, and to choose wisely. Each moment becomes an opportunity to align our actions with our values and intentions, unburdened by the weight of what has been or what might be. Moreover, the power of presence extends beyond our relationship with ourselves. It transforms how we connect with others. To be present with someone is to offer them your full attention and to truly listen, not just to their words, but to the emotions and intentions beneath them. In a world filled with distractions, this kind of deep attention is rare and profoundly impactful. Presence creates a space where genuine connection can flourish, where others feel seen, heard, and valued. It is a gift that strengthens relationships and fosters understanding, empathy, and trust. Presence also enhances our ability to appreciate the beauty and wonder of life. So often we rush through our days, barely noticing the world around us. We overlook the small joys, a kind smile, the warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter, because our minds are elsewhere. When we practice presence, we awaken to these moments, savoring them in their fullness. Life becomes richer, not because it has changed, but because we are finally paying attention to it. Presence reminds us that joy is not something to be found in the future, it is available to us here and now. However, cultivating presence is not always easy. It requires intention and practice, especially in a world that constantly demands our attention. It may mean slowing down, taking a deep breath, or setting aside time for reflection. It may involve letting go of the need to always be doing and instead embracing the art of simply being. While these practices may feel counterintuitive at first, they are the doorway to a life lived with greater awareness, peace, and purpose. The power of presence is transformative because it brings us back to the essence of what it means to be alive. It teaches us that we are not defined by the past or dictated by the future. It reminds us that each moment is a chance to choose, to connect, and to experience life fully. When we embrace presence, we reclaim our freedom, our clarity, and our joy. In the simple act of being here, now, we discover that we already have everything we need to live a life of meaning and authenticity. Letting go is one of the most profound choices we can make in life. It is an act of release, a deliberate decision to free ourselves from attachments, expectations, and burdens that no longer serve us. In a world that often equates control with strength and holding on with perseverance, letting go can feel counterintuitive. Yet it is through this choice that we create space for growth, renewal, and inner peace. At its core, letting go is about recognizing what we can and cannot control. Much of our stress and suffering comes from clinging to outcomes, people, or circumstances that are beyond our influence. We hold tightly to the belief that if we try harder or do more, we can shape the world to our liking. While effort and determination are essential in many areas of life, there comes a point where clinging becomes counterproductive. Letting go does not mean giving up, it means acknowledging the limits of our power and embracing the flow of life as it unfolds. One of the most challenging aspects of letting go is releasing our attachment to the past. We often carry the weight of past mistakes, regrets, or missed opportunities, replaying them in our minds as if doing so could rewrite history. This attachment binds us to a version of ourselves that no longer exists, preventing us from fully engaging with the present. Letting go of the past is not about forgetting or dismissing its significance. It is about learning from it and choosing to move forward unburdened. It is an act of self-compassion, allowing us to forgive ourselves and others, and to embrace the person we are becoming. Similarly, letting go involves releasing our expectations of the future. We often set rigid goals and plans, believing that happiness and fulfillment depend on achieving specific outcomes. While having aspirations is important, an over-attachment to them can lead to disappointment and frustration when life takes unexpected turns. Letting go of these expectations does not mean abandoning our dreams, it means remaining open to the possibilities that lie beyond our plans. It allows us to adapt, to find joy in the unexpected, and to trust that life has its own wisdom. Letting go also applies to relationships. Sometimes we hold on to connections that have become toxic, one-sided, or stagnant out of fear, guilt, or habit. We may cling to the idea of what a relationship once was or what we hoped it would be, even when it no longer aligns with our values or well-being. Choosing to let go in these situations is an act of self-respect and love. It is not a rejection of the other person, but an acknowledgement that the relationship has served its purpose and that it is time to move on. The act of letting go requires courage and trust. It asks us to confront our fears of the unknown and to release the illusion of control. It is natural to feel uncertain or vulnerable when we let go, as we are stepping into uncharted territory. Yet it is in this space of openness that we find the potential for transformation. Letting go creates room for new experiences, opportunities, and relationships to enter our lives. It allows us to shed what no longer serves us, making way for what truly aligns with our values and desires. Letting go is also a practice of presence. It calls us to focus on the here and now, rather than being tethered to what was or what might be. By letting go, we free ourselves to engage fully with the present moment, to appreciate its beauty and its challenges. We learn to trust the process of life, knowing that each ending is also a beginning, and that every release creates space for renewal. Ultimately, letting go is not a single choice, but a way of being. It is a commitment to live with grace, flexibility, and openness. It is an acknowledgement that life is not something to be controlled, but something to be experienced. In choosing to let go, we liberate ourselves from unnecessary suffering and discover the freedom to grow, to heal, and to embrace the fullness of life as it is. Choice as co-creation is a profound concept that highlights the dynamic relationship between our individual will and the larger forces shaping our lives. It invites us to see decision-making not as a solitary act, but as a collaborative process where we partner with the circumstances, people, and opportunities around us. This perspective transforms the way we understand our agency, emphasizing that our choices are not made in isolation, but are influenced by, and in turn, influence the world we inhabit. At its heart, the idea of co-creation reminds us that life is a dance between our intentions and the external realities we encounter. While we have the power to envision, plan, and act, life often presents us with surprises, challenges, and constraints that require adaptability. Co-creation acknowledges this interplay, encouraging us to work with the circumstances rather than against them. It is about being proactive without being rigid, assertive without dismissing the wisdom of the unknown. When we embrace choice as co-creation, we begin to see opportunities where we once saw obstacles. Life's challenges are no longer viewed as barriers to our plans, but as invitations to collaborate with what is unfolding. For example, when a door closes, we can choose to mourn what we've lost or explore the new paths that open as a result. This mindset shifts us from a position of resistance to one of curiosity and acceptance. By working with the flow of life, we align ourselves with possibilities we may not have imagined. Co-creation also highlights the interconnectedness of our choices and their impact on the world around us. Every decision we make ripples outward, affecting not only our lives but also the lives of others and the environment we share. This awareness brings a sense of responsibility to our choices, encouraging us to consider their broader implications. When we recognize that we are co-creators of the world we live in, we are inspired to act with greater care, intention, and mindfulness. At the same time, co-creation invites us to embrace collaboration with others. No choice exists in a vacuum. Our decisions are often influenced by relationships, shared goals, and collective needs. When we involve others in our decision-making processes, we create space for diverse perspectives and ideas to flourish. This collaborative approach enriches our choices, leading to outcomes that are more inclusive, creative, and meaningful. Co-creation is a reminder that while we have individual agency, our lives are deeply interconnected with those around us. The concept of co-creation also challenges the notion of control. Often we approach choices with the belief that we must have everything figured out, that the outcome must align perfectly with our desires. Co-creation asks us to release this need for absolute control and trust in the process. It acknowledges that while we may not always determine the outcomes, we play an active role in shaping them. This balance of effort and surrender allows us to navigate uncertainty with grace, confident in our ability to adapt and contribute meaningfully. Furthermore, co-creation is an invitation to align our choices with our values and purpose. It encourages us to ask, what kind of world do I want to help create, and to let that vision guide our actions. When our choices are rooted in authenticity and a sense of purpose, they become powerful acts of creation. We move beyond simply reacting to circumstances and step into the role of active participants in the unfolding of our lives and communities. Ultimately, choice as co-creation is a perspective that empowers us to engage with life in a way that is both intentional and responsive. It recognizes the beauty of collaboration between ourselves and others, between our efforts and the unknown, between our dreams and the realities we encounter. Through this lens, every choice becomes an opportunity to contribute to the world in meaningful ways, to shape not only our individual paths, but the collective story we are all part of. This approach to choice is liberating because it reminds us that we are neither entirely at the mercy of circumstances nor solely responsible for controlling them. Instead, we are co-creators working in partnership with life to shape our experiences and environments. In embracing this truth, we discover the profound power of our choices and the transformative potential of co-creation. In the end, the concept of choice as co-creation invites us to step into a role that is both empowering and humbling. It reminds us that while we hold the reins of our decisions, we are also deeply interconnected with the world around us. Each choice we make is a collaborative act of blending of our intentions, the circumstances we face, and the collective energies of life. By embracing co-creation, we move beyond the idea of life as something to be controlled or resisted. Instead, we begin to see it as a partnership, a process of shaping and being shaped. This perspective liberates us from the pressure of perfection and the fear of uncertainty, replacing them with curiosity, openness, and purpose. So, as we navigate the choices before us, may we remember the power of co-creation. May we act with intention, collaborate with grace, and trust in the flow of life. For it is through this harmonious dance of effort and surrender that we not only create our individual paths, but also contribute to the larger story of our shared humanity. And in that we find meaning, connection, and the beauty of truly living.